So I know we're focused on Star Wars and MCU and DCU and fuck you and Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, XYZ, whatever we're looking at. Prequels, sequels. We're looking at a sequel right now. We're going to be looking at The Way of Water. So let's take a moment. And we're just going to look at the Wikipedia because we're going to learn all we can, if we can, about this movie. So we're going to skip the 1 minute read there. So it's an upcoming film. It's a sequel to Avatar, both directed by James Cameron. James Cameron's going to do this 5 movie thing now. The first one was distributed by 20th Century pre-Disney. Now Disney owns it. Cameron's produced the film with John Landau and wrote the screenplay with Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver. I'm not sure. John Landau. Wrote the screenplay with Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver. Let's take a look at those two writers. So they're known for the Planet of the Apes movies. Okay, I still have to finish watching the third one. So we have a lot of returning casts. We have Sam Worthington, of course, Jake Sully. We have Neytiri, Zoe Saldana, Stephen Lang, Joel David Moore, CCH Pounder, Giovanni Ribisi. What's he doing back? Diep Rio and Matt Gerald. I'm not sure. Let's take a look. So we got Kate Winslet, Cliff Curtis, Edie Falco, Jermaine Clement, and Brendan Cowell. Now we're going to scroll down a bit because there's some more details about. I understand you got to raise money, but fuck. So it's some interesting roles for Sigourney Weaver and Stephen Lang. Cameron stated in 2006 that he would like to make sequels. We've been waiting. It's been 13 years. He announced the first 2 sequels in 2010 following the widespread success of the first film, with The Way of Water aiming for a 2014 release. The addition of 3 more sequels, why? A necessity to develop new technology in order to film performance capture scenes underwater. It's about saving the water. Don't abuse the oceans. That's most important. Because the abyss is... I would say you could say the abyss was a testing ground for The Way of Water. Significant delays. Preliminary shooting for the film started in Manhattan Beach, California on August 15, 2017, followed by principal photography, simultaneous with Avatar 3. So Avatar 3's it's almost finished, with 2 coming out in a week or two. On September 25th, 2017, filming concluded in late September 2020 with over 3 years of shooting. The film's theatrical release has been subject to repeated delays. It was to come out July 23rd in 2020, but of course we have the pandemic. So we have 2022. So here are the sequel 2, 3, 4, and 5 for 2024, great presidential year, 26 and 28, another presidential year. Though the later 2 would depend on the success of Way of Water. Well, it's got to be good. I mean, the 2 big things is that it can't be too preachy. It can't be more preachy than the first one, okay? Because I got the message of the first one. I mean, there's on my DVD set is where Joel David Moore and Sigourney Weaver, James Cameron went to the tribe of people. I'm not sure. Hopefully it turned out all right, that they stopped the oil drilling in Brazil. Because all the oil drilling that the government wanted to do, and they wanted to take away their people's homes. That's not what that should be happening at all. Premise. So here's the premise. Set more than a decade after the event of the first film, The Way of Water tells the story of the Sully family, the trouble that follows them, the lengths they go to keep each other safe, the battles they fight to stay alive. Very, very much your typical no answer, because it's like Star Wars. You gotta wait to get the answers. Now, you got Jake Sully, fell in love with Neytiri, befriended the Na'vi, so taking side, he left his human body to become one of the Na'vi. So if you have not watched the movie, I spoiled what happens to Sam Worthington as Jake Sully. Neytiri, Zoe Saldana, is daughter to the previous clan chief, future Dashik of the clan, and Jake's mate. Because Sute all day, every day was to be the next one, but he died, of course. Now, Sigourney Weaver is playing Kiri, Jake and Neytiri's adopted teenage daughter. How is that going to work? So she said she's gonna appear in the next one, but not play Dr. Augustine because Dr. Augustine died. Gunshot wound. That's Stephen Lang. Anyway, so she's doing the voice of the daughter. So are they going to speed up her voice? I have not. I don't think we saw much of previews for this movie, right? Uh, Kate Winslet. So it's amazing. I'm going to see. It's interesting to see how this is going to turn out. Kate Winslet, though, is so she's the daughter now. Could you argue though that Dr. Augustine came back, that Awa reincarnated Dr. Augustine to be the daughter of Neytiri and Jake Sully? That's kind of creepy, but anyway, Kate Winslet from the Titanic, everybody remembers her, as Ronal, a free diver of the Metkaina and Tonowari's wife. Okay, so she's one of the blue characters. Uh, Winslet called Ronal a pivotal character in the ongoing story, but also relatively small comparative to the lengthy shoot, since shooting all her scenes only took a month. Oh, okay. Only a month. They must be getting faster at doing this stuff. I've watched a lot of behind the scenes with the original. The DVD has, my DVD set has, I don't have the Blu-ray edition. I don't have a Blu-ray player, but that's like 5 more hours of behind the scenes stuff. It marks their first time working with performance capture and motion capture altogether. If you watch Beowulf, actors like Anthony Hopkins did like motion capture. She, like most of the cast, had to, people honking their horns outside, shut the fuck up! Free diving for the film. While filming underwater scenes, she held her breath for over 7 minutes. Okay, so it's a lot of underwater ballet here. Cliff Curtis as Tonowari, the leader of the Reef People. Okay, so I'm not sure if we saw the ocean people in the first movie. We saw Native American sort of canyon, desert, Rocky Canyon type people. We saw water people. We might have seen the water people. So there's different tribes that to set up for the final battle in the first movie. Jamie Flatters as Neteyam, Jake and Neytiri's first son. So they have a son and a daughter. And Sigourney Weaver's the daughter, the youngest one. Britton Dalton as Loak, Jake and Neytiri's second son. Chloe Coleman as young Loak. Trinity Jolie Bliss as Tiri, Jake and Neytiri's eight-year-old daughter. Well, they got a lot of kids. They're young. Okay, this is the youngest child right here. Tuk. Second son. So they have two boys, 2 girls. I'm trying to keep up with all this. Wait a minute, let me see. Sigourney Weaver's adopted teenage daughter. I don't know how that's going to work. They have 3 kids and an adopted daughter. This is very strange, I think. Bailey Bass as Sirea or Rhea, a graceful and strong free diver of the Medekia Tonowari Ronal's daughter. Philip Gejo Aonung, a young male hunter, free diver, Ronald's son. Dwayne Evans Jr. as Roxo, a young male hunter and free diver of the Metkaina. This is a water movie. So we got Moat, you got CCH Pounder as Neytiri's mom, spiritual leader Neytiri's mother. So I remember, I would remember in Mexico when you have a honeymoon, the mother-in-law always goes with the couple on the honeymoon. Humans, you got Jack Champion, Miles Spider Socorro, teenage son to Hell's Gate. Joel David Moore is back as Dr. Norm Spellman. No Trudy, she died. No Sute, he's dead. Dilip Rayo as Dr. Max Patel. That's that fat Middle Eastern dude that he worked on the Avatar program and came to support Jake's rebellion. Yeah, he's one of the good guys. He was that fat dude. I remember in one of the outtakes he was supposed to give the bird to the bad guys as he's crashing this giant bulldozer, but that's all in PS2 non-rendered graphics. If you have the DVDs, you'll know what I'm talking about. Stephen Lang comes back. Recombinants. These are deceased characters from the previous film are explained to have been resurrected as recombinants, described as avatars embedded with the memories of humans. So I don't know what's happening here. Is he going to look like a blue character or a human character? What's going to happen here? Stephen Lang comes back. He's a zombie colonel. Zombie Colonel Miles Quaritch. We'll just call him the Colonel. A human who led the security forces. So after being killed in the first film, he has been resurrected as a recombinant by the RDA and seeks to finish what he started, getting his revenge. Who resurrected him? Because from what I saw, all the humans went back on their ship and went back home to Earth, to the Blade Runner Earth. I'm not going to say exactly how we're bringing him back, but it's a science fiction story after all. His character will evolve into really unexpected places across the arc of our new three-film saga. He later said the Quaritch will act as the main antagonist. I'm really worried about this part. It's like he's zombie colonel, but is this just gonna be like Home Alone 2? It can't be sequelitis plot. It can't be a preachy movie, and it can't be sequelitis plot. It's gotta work. You know what I mean? Matt Gerald as Corporal Lyle Wainfleet, a mercenary in their war, who was previously killed by a hammerhead. Oh, it's that bald guy. Yeah, go get some. Is that guy? That the bald guy? He was announced to reprise his role. I'm sure he'll have fun with that. Alicia Vela Bailey as Zenaris, a recombinant and member of the 1st Recon. She previously portrayed Ikeni, leader of the Navi clan. She's also featured in a stunt performer in both. So she's one of the blue characters, I think. I'm not sure. So we have humans. I'm not sure what form, is Stephen Lang going to be a blue guy that looks like the Colonel? I don't know what's happening. Giovanni Ribisi, Parker. I don't know about you, but there are a lot of trees, Parker Selfridge, the former corporate administrator for the RDA. Edie Falco is back, I think, or I'm not sure who that is. I should know who Edie Falco is. Brendan Cowell as Captain Mick, and Jean Clement. Production. So this is taking years and years here. New Zealand. He would film the movies in New Zealand. So we got New Zealand for the ocean, I think. So 3, 4, and 5, I have no idea. So you got water, you got the forest, you got fire, you got ice caps, because you got to have the polar ice caps. I'm just thinking of an episode of Clone Wars where the Pantorans had to break bread with the white furry creatures. You've got ice. You've got the deserts. You've got animals. You got all kinds of stuff. Earth, wind, fire, water, something or other. Separate stories have an overall arc inclusive of the first film. Second, having a clear conclusion instead of a cliffhanger. Okay. His writing is all over the place. The second one's not going to be a cliffhanger. The first one wasn't a cliffhanger. Writers were announced: Josh Freeman, Rick Jaffa, Amanda Silver. So this is all the process of the whole thing. Comparing the themes of the sequels, it will be a natural extension of all the themes, all the characters, spiritual undercurrents. Basically, if you loved the first movie, you're going to love the next ones. If you hated it, you're going to hate these. If you loved it all the time and said later you hated it, you're probably going to love these. I don't know what that all means. He compared the sequels to the Godfather franchise, calling it a generational family saga. Well, that's what George Lucas wanted to do with the newer movies with Star Wars. Cameron mentioned that she was 8 years old. There's a 3-page argument between Jake and Neytiri. Marital dispute, very, very critical. Of course, they're going to argue, because they have to argue, right? If you're not arguing, it's not a movie. I wound up shooting it all from the point of view of the 8-year-old child. Okay, so there's a 3-page argument between Jake and Neytiri, and it's all from the point of view of the 8-year-old. And having gone through the experience with Sam Worthington on Avatar, I now know how to write the Jake character moving forward across the emotional roller coaster of the next 4 movies. So Lang stated that his character was always meant to return in the sequels, as Cameron had shared with that. Quaritch had a future with shooting the original. Is he going to get his beard, though? I like him with his beard. I was watching Terra Nova. Remember Terra Nova? That didn't do so well. Stories about family staying together, becoming parents. Becoming a parent changes much of your... So it's about family? I don't know. Because he was always trying to say that the environment was important. Preserve the forest, preserve the trees, preserve nature, right? And then you have the oceans. So I know he's doing an ocean message. Casting. We're going to skip the casting, I think. And the most important thing here, I think, is the music. Now, James Horner did the original music, but he died with a plane crash in 2015. So they got Simon Franklin, and he worked with them before for Titanic. So Titanic, there's the Titanic connection again, uh, including on Avatar, notably completing Horner's score for 2016's The Magnificent Seven after his passing. So I guess Simon Franklin is sort of like the legacy guy. So if you listen to the music for the Magnificent Seven after uh, I guess you have to like compare James Horner and Simon Franklin on this movie, and then you'll find out. Horner's score will be reused in the film, right, for themes. Da, 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 da. So in addition to the original themes, uh, so we'll see how this works. The Weeknd will also contribute an original song. The Weeknd, who's that? That's The Weeknd. Canadian singer. Okay, well, we're going to hear from him. So if you know his music, I don't know his music. That's it. That's what we're looking forward to. A movie that's about family or it's about the environment. We can clearly see there's all these flying creatures over the ocean. The Way of Water. Will this be good? Will this be bad? Where do we go from here? We'll find out December 16th, probably the 15th, because I go on preview night.